Yeah, Shalom Israel. Before I start, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Wahar, Rakar, Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel who rule and teach well, to the Akims and the Iwas and Byways and those pushing this word in truth, sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in the truth. Now, I'm on the plantation and I was making my way back to the car and I buck up these two elder sisters and we held up each other, and one of them started to, I got something I want to give you. So from this I know they were Christians. Turned out to be JEHOVAH wickedness. I said, what's that? Oh, this is for you, you can learn about the Bible. So I said, so what am I going to learn about the Bible, Like, they started to, how to know God. And so I said, so if I were to make it to the kingdom, what must I do? Beat around the bush, you have to know God. And so I said, so do I have to refrain from sin? They said, well, we're not going to tell you to refrain from sin. We're going to tell you to get to know God. So I said, well, shouldn't we be teaching people to abstain from sin? Isn't that the message, to abstain from sin? And what is the Bible's definition of sin? The usual foolishness, missing the mark. So I said, well, the Bible don't say missing the mark is sin. If you're fornicating and blah, blah. So I said, yeah, but what is the actual, how does the Bible define it? So I went to it, 1 John 3 and 4, read it for them, and say, yeah, that's what we're saying. I said, but you didn't say that. And they went on and say, well, you have to get to know God. That's what God wants you to do, to get to know him. So I said, how do we get to know God? And I went to 1 John 2, verse 3 and 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Bare foolishness coming out their mouth again, like, the point is like our people who are in churches, it's actually leading them in the opposite direction they want to go, and I said to them, well, getting to know God or abstaining from sin still boils down to the same thing, which is keeping God's commandments. They say, yeah, you have to keep the commandments. I said, yeah, there's dietary law, there's the Sabbath. They said, no, we don't keep the Sabbath. So I said, what? You're teaching people not to keep the Sabbath? And that's where I kind of departed from them, because actually we know that religion, when it comes to the laws, unless it's in line with the laws of the land, don't steal, don't kill, certain moral laws, don't sleep with the next man's wife. Outside of that, they'll disregard it. The dietary law, they'll misuse scriptures to say you can yam anything. The sister just done telling me, no, we don't have to keep the Sabbath, and even though it's a law to keep the Sabbath. And this is the thing about religion. If you're in it, get out. That's the message. Get out. You can hear the spoon tinkling in the teacup when you're in them churches, man, and people's been lulled to sleep. They're being put into a dead state. And that's what religion does, man. It keeps you in a dead state, keeps you far from the Most High, and it leads you in the opposite direction that you want to go. You're trying to get to the kingdom, it's leading you in the opposite direction. You're actually on an illusional path that looks like it's going to the kingdom, but you're totally going in the wrong direction. And yeah, it's just amazing how everything they were telling me, like, they'll say things that sounds right, and to some extent it is right, get to know the Most High, but how do you know that? Like, doing his will. Well, what is his will? They never seems to hit home, and it boils down to obedience, keeping his commandments. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And they'll never tell you to keep God's commandments. They'll always describe it as missing the mark. I wonder, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, they'll always describe it as missing the mark. They never actually say, yeah, just keep God's commandments, because they don't teach you to keep the laws of God. Or they come out with some foolishness like, the royal laws, which is to them is love the Most High with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. But then when you read that verse, it goes on to say, on these two hang all the commandments. So really, those two is just a truncated version of you applying all the laws. So yeah, basically, anyone that's in religion, if you're watching this, if you've just come across the channel and you're watching this, you're in the churches, get out. With that, I'm going to close out. I'm going to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Wahat, Rakar, Kadash, Kwame Sha'Allah.